Now, this one's going to make some people mad, but I'm just going to be honest. This is why I do not own a Graco spray rig. And Graco makes good equipment. They've been doing it a long time. They absolutely have the best spray gun there is. The silver gun, even the contractor, is just unbeatable. I even have an extra spare on hand. These are not cheap, and I have a ton of them. So I love these spray guns, these Silver Plus. I'm going to talk up a little bit about them, and we're going to talk a little bit down about Titan as well on this end. But these just are engineered really well. The aluminum's so good. I've dropped this gun off of a roof. You shouldn't do that, by the way. You should drop the gun first and then the line. But I've had, where it fell out of the lift or whatever, hit the ground, stayed together, didn't break. These are just really well engineered and well built, quality materials in it. Graco makes hands down the best spray guns. Also, their spray line is really one of the best ones. I really don't use anything else other than their guns and their lines. But I do not and will not own a rig until they do something different, and I'm going to tell you what that is. If you work for Graco, your fluid section sucks. I really can't say enough about how I hate their fluid section. Why is it that a piston is like $200 or whatever they are, and a sleeve is $400? And it seems like every time I ever change packings on my Graco units when I had them, it was so damn expensive. It was cheaper for me to buy a new rig. Honestly, that's pathetic. You need to up your game, guys. You may have a great pressure control system, but your fluid section, in my opinion, sucks. Could I make that clear enough? So this is why I have a Titan rig, and I'm going to explain this to you guys. And they say Graco. If you own a Graco and you like a Graco, there's things that you got to do to maintain them. I'm not able to do those things, and that's one of the reasons we're going to talk about this video. And many of you guys are probably the same. Part of it's laziness. Part of it's probably reasons like mine. I can't do the stuff I need to do to take care of my rig properly. So your rigs don't last with me. If you own a Graco, what you need to do every time you clean it, every time you go through, clean it out with water or whatever, you need to take pump saver and run it into your packings and let it set in there, and keep your pump always in pump saver with a Graco unit. That will help your packings last. But in my opinion, I shouldn't need to do that. These rigs, I can leave it. Oh, I've left junk in these things and just whatever, and the packing still lasts. It doesn't matter if it's abused or not. It still works. And when I do that with a Graco, I go to turn it on one day and it's like no pumpy, just going up and down. No good for me. Let me give you examples. What stuff that I do now, the kind of work that I do. I work for a lot of national sign companies. I do storefronts. I do stuff that's difficult substrates. I do areas where I'm in front of the store, right where the customers are at, and I need to be there as little time as possible. I was at a consumer value type store, if you know what I mean, and up in Oakland, and the manager at 9 o'clock in the morning came out to me. I'd started at 2 in the morning. The manager's out there at 9 o'clock in the morning, and he says, "How long are you going to be here?" And his next words were, "This store does $80,000 a day. How long are you going to be here?" I said, "I'm leaving in a few minutes." Does that give me time to sit there and clean my rig and do pump saver and all that other stuff? No. I need to get in my truck. I can barely get any water at those sites. When you're in front of some of these stores like in LA or Bay Area, and you're in some place where you barely can even find water. How are you going to be doing pump saver and all this stuff and cleaning your rig in front of the store? You know, it's just impossible to do. Really, it is. So, you know, I need a rig that can run and will just work and does the job. I've done places where I'm in front of a store and literally there was no way to block any of the spaces for people to park because the parking lot was just too small. And I had this much room blocked off. I had one space on either side of the area I was working on. Now I'm going to tell you, if you don't know what you're doing when you're spraying above cars like that, you're going to be paying a lot of money out in labor insurance claims. Okay, and I did not get in paint one speck on any cars around me. I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this a long time. I'm a specialist at this sort of thing. There's not many people who could do that where I was at, and it was cold. You had to make sure all the paint that was coming out of your gun went right to the wall. No bounce back, no whipping, nothing. Tight spray, everything really, really tight to the wall. Make sure that there's nothing going anywhere but right out of the gun onto the wall. So what I like about these rigs is their fluid section, the piston does not ever touch the sleeve. It has a neoprene system where there's like almost like a neoprene O-ring that the piston goes through, which keeps it from touching anything else, so that you literally can't wear out the sleeve on this thing. Now, you know, it's not like Graco hasn't known that. They've known that for years, but they want to sell pistons and sleeves. So here's what I say: up yours until you guys get it right. But I will say, whatever you guys are doing here, I'm very happy. I don't know, they keep saying the leather is more efficient and all this other garbage, and I just know, I'm just see right through that, and I see money. They're selling these, they're selling pistons, proprietary stuff. In my opinion, it's just crap. Get out of the money-making game there, sell your new machines, and start making something that the painters can use. Now, how many of you guys that own Gracos actually use Punch Saver every night? And how many of you guys that use Titan want to just go home? You want to finish a job, you want to just clean it, run it through water, and you're done. And yeah, the pump sits a couple days, maybe it gets a little rusty or whatever, and it still works the next time you go to use it. I'd love to see what your comments are on that. Now let's talk about Titan spray guns. You know, one of the guys who worked for me got one of these Titan rigs, and he got the spray gun that came with it. I told him, I said I'd throw that thing in the trash or give it to a homeless person or whatever. But he used it for about, I don't know, it was less than 6 months, and the gun, without dropping it or anything, cracked in half. Now, you know what? I mean, Titan, if you guys are wanting to make, you know, good stuff, I mean, I love your rigs. I'll use your rigs all the time. But man, there's no way I'll ever buy a Titan spray gun when I've had that kind of thing I've seen. And even the contractor gun from Graco is superior to most other. There's really nobody that competes with them on that end. So I got one thing to say to Graco: get it right. Get it right. You know, get what we need. And if you guys make comments, maybe they'll learn that they need to do what the painters want, not just what they want to do to put money in their pockets. So until then, it's like no Gracos for me, man. Talk to you in the next video. Please like, share, and subscribe.